I think most people probably train their LoRa's on Civitai, just because it was the cheapest and my recommendation. But if you did decide to pay for Eden, I want to go through the steps of uploading Eden files. It's slightly different. Basically, there's a second file you need to upload in addition to the LoRa file. There's also what's called a textual embedding file. So we'll upload that as well. So here I am in Eden. This was the model I trained. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the little 3 menu up here and hit download. That's going to download a file for me. And when I open it, what I will see is a folder that looks like this. So inside of there is my LoRa file, but there's also this other file called embeddings. So let's take a look at how to upload those into RunComfy now. So we'll go to RunComfy, and I'm again using my CPU here, so I'm just going to upload for free, and then we'll come back and we'll look at how it works with the GPU in a second. For anyone that started back from the beginning, you should open this, and it will be at ComfyUI. You'll double click into here, and you're going to go to Models. And remember, for models that are LoRa's, we need to scroll all the way down to LoRa's. And we're going to click on the kebab menu here. We're going to upload. We're going to upload a file. And we are going to upload our LoRa file here. So the 70-ish megabyte file should go here. So we'll flowers LoRa upload. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our models folder. And we're going to look for embeddings. So there's another folder here called embeddings. And in here, we want to upload our embeddings files. We'll go click on the kebab here. We'll go to upload. We'll say file. And then we'll go to the flowers embeddings. We'll open that. And that should pretty much update like pretty much immediately. So now we've got both those in there. We'll cover this more in class, but there is a LoRa loader. So load LoRa. And what we'll be able to do then is if we hit refresh here, we should be able to see our LoRa in here. So let's do flowers. There it is, flowers, LoRa, safe tensors. Now, what I might recommend people do is you also label this. So one thing we could do is if we go back to our models folder and we go back to the LoRa's folder, we might want to make a new folder here. I always do the wrong thing there. New folder. And we might want to call these SDXL. And then what we can do is we can drag our flowers LoRa there. That way, again, remember that our LoRa's need to connect to base models, and it's important to remember what base models are what. In fact, I might even rename this. I might even call this Juggernaut XL V5. Juggernaut XL, or sorry, V6. Because that is the actual base model file. So this will help me remember, okay, I need to connect that to Juggernaut V6. So make sure that showed up in there. Yep, it's still there. Okay, so now if I hit refresh again, now what I could actually do is up here I could just type in Juggernaut, and I could see all of the files that will be connected to my Juggernaut account or Juggernaut base model. It's helpful to sort of name things and keep a naming convention going. If you don't, it gets very confusing. You have to go back and check notes, or maybe even forget what model file it is, and then you've got nothing. So try to be like somewhat good about organization. I'm not the best at it, so maybe don't follow my path, but if I remember, I'll do a good job at it. So hopefully you can do that as well. So now that we've uploaded this via the CPU, we can go ahead and stop our machine. Stop it and hit OK. And now I'm going to go back to a GPU machine. So I'm just going to go back to one of my small GPUs, the cheapest one. I'll go back to medium. I'll hit launch. This is going to take a couple minutes to run. And once we're done there, then I will open up those models and we'll actually look at them and make sure they work correctly. Okay, so we're back here in RunComfy now. I actually, with a GPU running, I went to check on my files. I went to go to LoRa's, and I discovered my files weren't there. And this is very confusing because I did also check to see if my other model files that I uploaded today are there, and they are. If I had to guess, maybe it's something like there's a syncing issue where maybe there's a delay in syncing files across. But what I did instead, just to be safe, is I re-uploaded my files in this system. So I made a new folder. I named it Juggernaut instead of Juggernaut V6, which is I think what I was doing previously. So if it does end up appearing in a couple hours, I'll at least know it's like a syncing issue. That's a little frustrating, and I'm going to talk to RunComfy's support team to see what's going on there. Anyway, what I did is I re-uploaded my LoRa, because they're pretty small files. They upload pretty quickly. It took a minute or two. I re-uploaded my LoRa's, and I uploaded my embeddings again. So you'll see I've got a file called flowers embeddings and a LoRa. Let's go ahead now and walk through how we would actually use this in context. So if I go over here and I just close out my window just to hide that, I'm going to hide this as well just to keep it a little bit cleaner. Remember that what we need is our Juggernaut file. So we need Juggernaut version 6. That's the version that Eden trains on. So we want Juggernaut XL version 6 run diffusion. Remember, this is a XL model. So we're also going to set our empty latents to be 1012 by 1012 since it is an XL model. And then the other thing we want to do here is we're going to add in our LoRa loader. So we'll go to LoRa, we get a load LoRa, and then what we're going to do is we're actually just going to add in, into our model queue, we're going to add in the LoRa. So we're going to add LoRa goes here, model goes here, and then we're also going to take our clip out and replace our clip with both of these. Okay, so if we run this now, remember this is how we would traditionally run, and actually I need to switch my LoRa to the flowers model. Nope, and I need to hit refresh because I just uploaded those files. So we go to flowers. Let's go to Juggernaut. Oh, maybe you need to hit refresh one more time. Refresh, refresh. Juggernaut. There we go. There it is. Juggernaut flowers LoRa. Make this a little bit wider here. There we go. If we just run this now, we should get something that works. Because we have our flowers LoRa, this will hopefully, affect our output image with our LoRa here. We just give this a minute, see how it goes. Remember, XL models take quite a bit longer to load because they're much larger. So the first time we run this is going to take a little bit of time just to run. And here we go. There we go. There's an image that uses our LoRa. But you'll notice it doesn't really look that different, right? Remember, our flowers model is meant to look like this sort of thing. And that's because we're not really calling anything in the text prompt to call attention to what we want to do here. And this is where that embeddings file is really important, right? In other tools we've used, there's like a keyword you have to put in. So you put in flowers. But we don't really have that keyword here. Instead, what we have is an embedding file. And that embedding file essentially calls all of the right words we need to associate with this. You'll see you just get more flowers. So let's figure out how to call that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to type in, let's just delete this completely. We'll do flowers. Interesting. Oh, there we go. There it was. Okay, this is what I always forget. You have to start by typing the word embedding and then the word you want. So we're going to look for embeddings, and we're going to go in here and we're going to look for flowers. But where are my flowers? Let me make sure I upload the file correctly. It's there. Let's refresh a couple times. We'll do embeddings. And then let's just type this in and see if this works. So we'll do embedding, and we'll do flowers underscore embeddings. And let's just leave this as this for now. So flowers embeddings, and we'll just run this. This is basically running it without any prompt whatsoever, but with our embeddings set up here. And there we go. Now we get an image that looks more like what our training model data was. I'm not sure why this isn't autofilling. Again, there might be some hiccup in sort of like, how this stuff gets cached, that sort of thing. But what we can also do here now is let's also add in a prompt. So let's say ecological horror, bear in forest. Let's just run this and see what we get. And there we go. Now we get an image that kind of looks like our data set, right? It's got that kind of vintage looking quality. One thing I'm noticing is this, everything's kind of bleached out a little bit. I wonder if that's because of my strength of my prompt here. Let me try reducing our LoRa strength a little bit more. Now we'll look at this in class this week. So don't worry about this too much. Barren forest, bear skeleton. Let's just say skeleton. If I can spell skeleton. Okay, so now we at least know everything here is working, right? We have this, that's interesting, a bear standing on a skeleton, like it's buried under the ground of him. That's pretty interesting. And the bear now looks like very muscular and very skeleton-like. So this is now working for us, and that's really all we really care about for this. We'll look at a lot more in this week's session, but remember that the embeddings file is actually what really calls out the LoRA in the best way possible. So other models just have that one keyword you need to sort of look for, but this embeddings file that you get through Eden is also really important just for the Eden models. So if you trained in a LoRA on Civitai or something else, or Dreamlook or something else, it doesn't really matter if you won't have an embeddings file, and you don't need to worry about that. But if you do train in Eden, you want to make sure you also upload your embeddings file and use that. All right, that's it for this video. Yeah, we'll look at another video where we compare all these once I get them all uploaded. So keep an eye out for that.